Ours is a broad tent. Ours is an inclusive tent. So we want to make sure that whoever has talent, let them come on board. Experts, activists, trade union leaders, they have to be part of what we believe to be the big bus and revolutionary train to a new Zimbabwe. So we're happy that Comrade Mahere, advocate, is now part of us, and she's going to be heading the Sector for Education, Sports, Arts and Culture portfolio. We have Rast Makam, our MP, being in charge of lands and agriculture. Comrade Ngewani, the former president of ZCTU, is going to be in charge of cadreship development and training, because our emphasis is going to be, leadership development, deploying our people to competence, and building our capacities. We also have intelligence. We don't want witnesses in the party. We want intelligence. We must know what our opponents are planning before they plan anything. So yes, Comrade Machingauta is going to be in charge of that. Mr. Emmanuel Chimwanda, former assistant inspector, is going to be in charge of defense and security. We've been working with him for a long time. He was a police commissioner, assistant police commissioner, not a police commissioner. Yes, he's now going to be heading our defense and security. We have all other names: Gole Sekuma, Legal Affairs, Brian Dube, deputizing. I could go on and on, but suffice to say, these are the lists, and we now have a full complement for our national executive. The committee members from the various provinces, we are going to make the announcement and put it out for purposes of those who may want to see, those who are from provinces. So we're going to put it on the website. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I was trying to shorten a very long presentation this morning. And again, our apologies. We've been hit by bereavement after bereavement. We lost Mr. Msumbu, our former MP for Norton constituents, who is going to be buried in Manicaland. So we've deployed other leaders to go there and accompany the family. We just had to pay our respects to the comrade. So yes, thank you very much, leadership. I think that does it for what we have, unless if there are any questions, clarifications, or additions from you, our colleagues. But thank you very much for coming, and God bless you.
Yes, questions? Comrade Mugod.
President, you mentioned about the Freedom Fighters Council. We thought maybe we want to know who is in the Freedom Fighters Council or who chairs the council.
Well, I've deliberately left it out because our respectable and honorable war veterans have requested to also have their own meeting across the whole country. Mind you, these are going to be representing our war veterans, so they need to have their own meeting to consult on who is going to be the representative. So we sought the condonation of the National Council to say when the names are provided, we will then avail. But the war veterans are going to be having their structures right up to the ideal. Some of them which were hijacked, and also a lot of them are disappointed because ZanuPf is no longer the revolutionary vehicle. The new revolutionary vehicle in this country is the MDC. We represent the aspirations and ideals of the leaders of the liberation struggle. So we want to honor the military. Medical facilities, and this is not the way you treat your heroes. Look at America, look at Vietnam. You look at South Africa, let's give distance to our war veterans. Let's honor them. And the best way to honor them is not just recognition in terms of pride of place, but also just acknowledging their necessities for purposes of life.
Yes, yes, President.
Yes, the MDC expanded. It's a standing committee. Can you just have the specs on the expansion? Are all the portfolio secretaries going to be in the standing committee, or what is the effect of the expansion of the standing committee?
Thank you. Just to emphasize that the standing committee was not expanded. That's not appropriate terminology or jargon. The standing committee is still as it was. The standing committee is defined from time to time by the National Congress. And as far as we are concerned, we still retain those who are sitting in the standing committee. But we are going to be inviting those who have operational functions like diplomacy and international relations. Because local government, we have 28 mayors out of the 32, we want to know members used to be 88, I'm sure will be in those numbers. We're here to look at the figures, looking at the representatives that come from the various other organs like the Guardian Council, which is also a very important body, by the way. In fact, I was supposed to also announce the Guardian Council, and thanks, Blessing, for asking me about the standing committee. I'll give you a bonus because of that question. Yes, that one is already, they will send to them like the freedom fighters. Okay, so just also to indicate that we have the Guardian Council, mostly members of the party who are 55 years and above, who are able to give the president wise counsel. You know, the president is young, he needs gray haired people who have this gray metal. So Beke Swanda of Mat South is going to be chairing the Guardian Council, and the secretary is going to be Mungofa, and of course those members are also provided for by the provinces. So we'll have that Guardian Council. It gives wisdom, it engages traditional leaders for purposes of moving forward our agenda. So the standing committee has not been expanded, but the standing committee has been strengthened. So we've strengthened the standing committee to make sure that we deliver in terms of our goal. You can see that we also strengthened the Secretary General and also the Office of Organizing, because we mean serious business. The task at hand is so big. Zimbabweans want an answer from us, and we have to provide that answer in terms of leadership. That's why we've said, now that the Congress is gone, we've closed and shut the doors of Congress. The next focus now is to provide leadership to the people of Zimbabwe, to liberate ourselves, but also to bring freedom to this country.
Yes.
At the Morgan Tsvangirai Memorial in Manikwa, you spoke on 3 vice presidents.
Have to force Comrade Mnangagwa to appreciate that there has to be meeting of the minds. We don't want, violence in this country. We don't want anarchy and chaos in this country. We want peace. But peace is only a product of people realizing the mutual desirability of this political dialogue, so that we're able to resolve fundamental issues around reforms, economically, politically. But that has to be done in the context of scaffolding and underwriting by the international community. And this is why we must applaud the statements from South Africa by the ambassador of South Africa and also former President Mbeki to say that the resolution of the crisis in Zimbabwe goes beyond the Constitutional Court. This is a political problem. It must have political answers. And we are the political players. Issues around reforms, economically, politically, but that has to be done in the context of scaffolding and underwriting by the international community. And this is why we must applaud the statements from South Africa by the ambassador of South Africa and also former President Mbeki to say that the resolution of the crisis in Zimbabwe goes beyond the Constitutional Court. This is a political problem. It must have political answers. And we are the political players. Issues around reforms, economically, politically, but that has to be done in the context of scaffolding and underwriting by the international community. And this is why we must applaud the statements from South Africa by the ambassador of South Africa and also former President Mbeki to say that the resolution of the crisis in Zimbabwe goes beyond the Constitutional Court. This is a political problem. It must have political answers. And we are the political players. Issues around reforms, economically, politically, but that has to be done in the context of scaffolding and underwriting by the international community. And this is why we must applaud the statements from South Africa by the ambassador of South Africa and also former President Mbeki to say that the resolution of the crisis in Zimbabwe goes beyond the Constitutional Court. This is a political problem. It must have political answers. And we are the political players. Issues around reforms, economically, politically, but that has to be done in the context of scaffolding and underwriting by the international community. And this is why we must applaud the statements from South Africa by the ambassador of South Africa and also former President Mbeki to say that the resolution of the crisis in Zimbabwe goes beyond the Constitutional Court. This is a political problem. It must have political answers. And we are the political players. Issues around reforms, economically, politically, but that has to be done in the context of scaffolding and underwriting by the international community. And this is why we must applaud the statements from South Africa by the ambassador of South Africa and also former President Mbeki to say that the resolution of the crisis in Zimbabwe goes beyond the Constitutional Court. This is a political problem. It must have political answers. And we are the political players. Issues around reforms, economically, politically, but that has to be done in the context of scaffolding and underwriting by the international community. And this is why we must applaud the statements from South Africa by the ambassador of South Africa and also former President Mbeki to say that the resolution of the crisis in Zimbabwe goes beyond the Constitutional Court. This is a political problem. It must have political answers. And we are the political players. So yes, we will continue to do that. We want to see more. We know that ZanuPf has been chasing away people. We want them to come to the party. We chlorinate them so that they are fit for purpose. And then we move on. We don't just take people because some of them are contaminated, you know, in terms of their politics. Thank you.
Anyone still with a burning question? Yes,
Yeah.
very last question. Yes.
Mr. President, I heard you saying you shall force Mr. Mnangagwa to come for a dialogue. My own analysis, Mr. Mnangagwa is not an easy person to push to the corner. What force shall you imply?
I think your analysis is false. He said he's as soft as wool.
I'm saying he's not a soft person to push the collar.
But I'm saying he said he's as soft as wool. So we'll count on that softness. And he will come to the negotiating table. I mean, you know, Mugabe used to say people sitting under a tree cannot force me to write a constitution. But he ended up writing the constitution. Politicians have a tendency of saying, you know, words that they don't even believe. And we are not that type of politicians. Those are the politicians who want to make sure that we bring to the negotiating table so that they understand. Is it the best interest of Mr.
I've worked with her when I was still working in national and province. So I'm satisfied. We are satisfied with all the people that have been appointed. It's a strong team, and we believe that very soon we are going to deliver the real change.